You're listening to the Challenge Takes podcast, the only podcast where 2 votes are better than 1.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm Brian Smith.
And I'm Joe Puglisi.
Wait a second. No, yeah, I'm Brian Smith.
Yeah, I'm Joe Puglisi.
All right.
Camilla rules.
Yeah, she so doesn't. I love Amanda.
They should have been partners this season.
No,
missed opportunities by MTV, man.
Yeah, that would have been the best.
It really would have. We would have been best friends.
Yeah,
not like we already are or anything.
That might have happened if Amanda and Camilla were on this show together forever. That's cool. We watched episode 3 of Final Reckoning.
Yes, we did.
And it was better than episode 2.
It was better than episode 2. Not a hard bar to set.
It was a pretty good episode, but man, oh man. 3 episodes to get to an elimination.
And then next week, we're already bringing a team back.
Oh my gosh. This never ending.
We're going to be here till Christmas, I told you.
Yeah, well, you said you're going to be here till Christmas, but my hot take was that it's a never-ending season. It sure looks like it.
It's just going to go on for the next 3 years. No, it's never going to end.
It's never going to end. Never.
Well, they've already finished filming it, so it's got to end at some point, Joe. What if they just suddenly they like everyone's just been like they like decided to take a break and everyone's like resting right now, and then they'll fly back out and they'll continue at that point in the game. They'll send out whatever teams are still remaining in the game. And then all of a sudden, all the teams that got eliminated show up, and they have one big redemption challenge with all of them.
But every one of them gets to come back.
Oh, of course, yes.
Because
eventually, all of them end up weaseling their way back into the house, and then you got like all 15 teams back. Even Kayla and Melissa are welcomed back.
Well, does Devin ever get to come back?
Maybe he does. Maybe well, he does make an appearance later in the season.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
Well, they haven't meant.
No, they did.
Well, they haven't.
It
was in that one trailer, and then after that, we're not going to hear about him again for a couple weeks now. So,
all right.
What I don't know which one comes first, them or Ashley and Hunter, but we'll see.
Yeah, the other person with Devin, by the way, is Corey. We've said it, but like,
who cares?
So yeah, there was a show, and why don't we jump into that?
Why don't we, Brian?
Actually, real quick, Joe, I have an important announcement. Next week, I will be going on vacation. So
really, I thought that was actually 2 weeks.
Is it 2 weeks?
It is 2 weeks.
Oh, you're right. Thanks for reminding me. I'm going on vacation for the next 2 weeks. So
no, you're going on vacation in 2 weeks. So you'll be here next week, but the week after.
Oh, I'll be here next week.
Yes, you will be here next week.
I'll be here next week. I mean,
yes.
So I'll save this news for next week. Actually,
yes. So
we're jumping to the show.
Jumping into the show here, where my man Tony Time jumps right into it and talks about who he's got. And Alliance is a little bit of a question mark right now because Bananas is his partner, and he doesn't know where Bananas' trust lies in with any of these teams.
Thanks, Paulie.
Yeah, Paulie doing a great job narrating the season.
I mean, you just did it there. So, I mean, that was still like 4 times better than Paulie. At least it was slightly insightful.
Yeah, true. Because Tony, he's got his boys. He's got Zach and Brad and Kyle. Does he have Brad?
I wouldn't know. Actually, I would know. Of course he doesn't.
Yeah, all right. Well, he should have Zach, but then again, Bananas is a wild card because Bananas wants to seems like he wants to team up with these younger teams because all these veteran players, the like middle of the road teams, are completely sick of Sir Johnny Bananas.
He's just trying to get his nut.
So in a way, Tony could probably help Johnny Bananas politically because people like Tony.
Yeah.
Whereas they're probably sick of Johnny, so
they're all tired of John.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why. Then younger cast member. That is how you make a name for yourself. You come in, you mess up the Bananas toast, which there wasn't even one this season, but he goes to do the thing, you knock the thing out of his hand and say, "Fuck you, John." You'll be invited back to every season since. You'll probably have him as a partner on Rival 7.
You'd also be sent into like the first 5 eliminations.
Well, that's where you recruit some allies first beforehand. So
you haven't done nothing if you're a rookie and on the toast. You guys just got your bunk beds.
True. So what happened next? There was a conversation with Tori and Derek where as multiple teams referred to them in this episode as being Team Layup. I'm pretty sure Tori and Derek called themselves Team Layup here. And later on in the episode, we'll see a CT and Veronica do the exact same thing, or just CT because.
Let's be frank. Really, are those two teams not Team Layup?
I mean, are Angel and Faith better than them at this point?
Their work together way better.
Or Cam and Kaylee are Cam and Kaylee better than them?
Apparently,
in eliminations.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess they would be the two. Maybe not the two weakest teams immediately, but two of the teams that would probably come towards the bottom as like ones that would be a threat to win a challenge.
Once mid-season rolls around, these two are like they're just done for.
So we're already throwing in the towel on both of them.
Oh yeah.
So our preseason ranking of where we had them, so that we're already dropping them below Angel and Faith, who we have ranked at 14th.
However, we do have this storyline building between CT and Veronica that she's like useless, and that he's gonna have to carry her. I think this is building up to like she's gonna do something like really, really powerful or strong, like in an elimination or like something that really saves the team. That's all her. He's
gonna majorly fuck up and cost them. Which I honestly would love if that was the case because people would be so mad. Well, there a lot of CT fans out there very upset about him and Veronica being a team, and CT's pushing this narrative that she's a useless partner, doesn't do anything, and is only there for the vacation. So it would be hilarious if he was the reason they both lost. I would love that.
Do you think this is Veronica's last season?
It depends on how they do.
But it's the end of the trilogy, and
yeah.
And I mean, I feel like 40. I feel like she only got the callbacks because it ended up being like a series of seasons.
They didn't use her like at all last season, so
yeah. What is this her third season in a row?
Three in a row, yeah.
Yeah. I kind of feel like this is it.
You think this is the end of the road for Veronica?
Yeah. It also sounds like with the narrative that they could be also potentially writing her off.
Queen V gonna hang it up. Even CT called her Queen V. He's like, she used to be Queen V, but now she just wants to be here for the vacation.
Well,
see, he knows. He remembers her back in the day.
Who can blame you? Like,
oh, that was jumping way ahead. Someone said someone said something about a dirty pirate hooker love triangle. I think it was Faith.
No, someone assessing the triangle,
or maybe it was probably Bananas.
It might have been Bananas.
I think it was Bananas. It was Bananas. Yeah.
Yeah.
The dirty pirate hooker love triangle between Kyle.
I'm surprised you remembered that, Joe. Usually you're really absent in the episodes.
Yeah, I mean,
I took all the notes. So.
Yeah, Kyle. It was Faith. No, was it Faith, Kyle, and Cara? That seems to be
yeah, that was it.
Not Paulie yet.
Nah.
Paulie calls him a pussy behind his back, and then they have a gentleman's confrontation, if you will.
Yeah, a real mature sit down.
Yeah,
went on here.
You called me a pussy. I don't fucking like you, bro.
It was a really bad move.
Hey, Paulie showed some personality there. You got to give it to him.
Hey. He also tried to weasel his way out of it. So.
Yeah. Paulie's not playing as CT would, as this beacon of light shining over Paulie this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Repeatedly saying how he's not playing a good game and pissing off the wrong people.
Oh, by the way, besides the first 5 minutes, did Tony ever show up?
No.
Maybe
when they voted.
It was more like the first 2 minutes. Yeah, I guess every team got their vote aired, which I hope doesn't happen every elimination.
Oh, it will. Well, they might do a fast one. Like some of them were fast. If the team actually argued, they'd show it, but most of them were pretty fast.
Yeah.
Shane or Kyle also explaining how, or did somebody brought up Shane? Why are you gunning for Paulie? I think it was Cara told Kyle. Don't gun for Paulie, go for Shane. He's the one who said all this crap about you on Twitter.
It was actually kind of a very reasonable thing.
Yeah.
I for once I was like, all right.
I'm just trying to weasel your way out of him throwing in your boy toy there. And then Shane
made a good point. I was actually kind of down for that.
And then this was a funny scene where Shane has to explain to Amanda everything that he tweeted at Kyle in detail and explaining his fake chin.
Oh my god. How great was Amanda in this segment?
Oh.
She was just amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure she was.
She was just so beautiful and so smart.
She wasn't particularly smart because she's a nurse. She should know what a chin operation is.
You're right. She probably should be well informed about that.
Yeah. But anyway,
at least like slightly informed.
And she also probably is aware of that situation. They're just having a conversation for the sake of the cameras.
Yeah,
because they've made it a point that this whole Twitter thing that Shane and Kyle have going on is a possible vendetta.
Yeah, they're. I've been noticing. I don't know if it's been apparent for a long time, but this season, the conversations have just looked really scripted.
The conversations have been scripted, like in the house. Conversations have been scripted.
Well, I mean that one right there.
I don't think it wasn't. The conversation necessarily isn't scripted. It was just like, I feel like what I'm trying to say is they made it seem like Amanda had no clue that Shane did any of this.
Right.
But I feel like she definitely did.
Well, that's where I think is where it becomes scripted, because I feel like a producer like kind of like gives them a nudge, like, hey, can you have this conversation and can you be like unaware of it to kind of like explain it to the audience?
Yeah.
Like that's where I mean. Like, I mean, they're not writing promos over here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think they just give them a general scenario and then they.
Did Shane say that Shane still slipped in at Kyle's a great person here while explaining all this?
Yeah, something like that happened where he's like, I love Kyle.
He's like, Kyle's a great person. But here's the thing. Kyle's a great person. He's fake as shit.
Yeah. That was great. That was like just instantly going back on your word.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's pretty drunk. So.
Yeah, well, drunk Shane is the best for entertainment purposes on the show and on Twitter.
Normal Shane is just great, but yeah, on Twitter, like you got to get some drunk Shane.
Later on, we see Kyle admitting that he still cares about Kara, which is why he isn't gunning. Oh, we didn't mention that before, but Paulie, you can see Paulie is still hesitant, like he's not fully in there with Kara yet, because he tries to throw her under the bus pretty quickly to Kyle to vote Kara in and not him.
Yeah, good.
But Kyle's going to do the jealous move, which is not to send Kara in, the girl that you have the issue with, but to send in the guy that she's messing with. And keep the girl.
Classic reality television right there. Am I right?
And all this is, by the way, there was a lot of, I feel like this was overplayed last week, but this week I had no problem with it because it all ties into the game and where the votes were going to lie. Uh-huh. And it does end up coming back to bite Paulie in the ass later. Spoiler alert. Eventually we see later on Kyle and Faith getting comfy on basically the floor bed.
It was just a lower level bunk.
But it's literally on the floor.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
I haven't taken notice.
The bunk beds this season are like, they look like cabinets. Like,
yeah, so that means there's one on the floor and one just touching the ceiling basically.
No, the one on the ceiling's for storage purposes, and then there's one in the middle.
Yeah.
That's where people are sleeping on, and Kaylee was trying to cockblock them.
You know, I tuned in late to this segment. There were some ruffled sheets, and I tuned in right on a shot of Kaylee like twisting in her bed, and I didn't get. And then seeing the confessional where she says, or someone said that Kaylee was trying to break it up. How was she even involved in this?
She was on the bunk above them, and she was
other than that,
and then she mentioned that Faith is doing the right thing by hooking up with a strong player in the game, Kyle. Who would ever think he's only on his second season and he's already being viewed as like, oh, this is like the guy you want to cuddle up to.
Yeah, honestly, it was a fleeting thought that came through my mind this episode. If we were doing challenge fantasy this season. I think a really good first round pick is Kyle. Like he would be. He's on a super strong team. He's pretty much just like Camilla without the just like
the meltdowns.
The meltdowns, yeah. That's the meltdowns and like the crying, like that's pretty much, what he is.
Yeah.
I guess he's a little less argumentative, but I think it's kind of showing through.
Yeah, well, I mean, he hasn't had a reason to get into it with anybody. I feel like he handles confrontation pretty well, though.
Judging by this episode, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see later on.
So, what would be next?
Bananas and Angela were having a conversation outside. And literally the exact same... Can I say this? Bananas isn't even original with where he chooses to flirt with women in the house. Literally the exact same place as Bananas and Natalie having the conversation last season. where Angela's laid out on her stomach on a chair, and then Bananas is sprawled out on his back. Pretty sure he's wearing the exact same like bathing suit and hat that he had on, while Angela's laying there with her ass hanging out. And that is basically the conversation right there. And Bananas said that Angela was did he say that she was a strong competitor? He said,
"Oh, I believe he did. Yes."
Bananas, let's be honest, you just want to get in her pants. Don't try to spin this as how it's a strategical move here. It's okay. By the way, it's completely okay if you want to hook up with her because you think she's hot. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to try to spin it that it's a good political move by you. To hook up with a rookie girl.
You're a single man.
Who did one challenge.
You're a single man. You're allowed to do what you want, man.
Angela, however, not a single man. Or not a single girl.
She's definitely not a single man. That's for sure.
Angela, not a single girl going into the show, however.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, well, she hasn't spoken about it at all.
Ruh-roh.
It was the guy from X on the Beach.
That doesn't ring any
bells. But apparently it's okay because he was stealing her money while she was gone.
That a boy?
Yeah, Angela's actually warmed up to me a bit on social media afterwards. She's been she tweeted something because his name is Tarai Brooks, and she called him like Broke Brooks. He's like, "Shut up, Broke Brooks."
That's a good name. That's a good one. She's that Angela Faith team has warmed up to me mightily.
Yeah, well, I mean, you never even started with them, so you had a fresh start. So that's what's good, is because like I had a little bit of skewed perspective of them watching them on X on the Beach, but both of them have not acted anything
like that.
Yeah, it's been a complete clean slate for both of them, honestly, because it's a different environment. Even Paulie has been completely different on this than he was on X on the Beach. X on the Beach, he did nothing. He was just a background character for almost every episode.
He was just being a cuck.
Yeah. I don't think he was doing that. Well, he was transitioning relationships, which is what he calls cheating.
Sure is.
Now, Paulie explained later in the episode that 2 is better than 1. Does Paulie also subscribe to the theory that 2 girlfriends are better than 1?
I think he does, actually.
Probably, yeah. What has he been doing with Kara and this Danielle girl?
Thanks.
Open relationships.
Thanks, Paulie, for lining up that explanation after your punchline.
Yeah, well, I learned from the best, or the painfully average.
It's much worse than painfully average.
Extremely below.
Yeah. Why did they give him the the commentary job? Like, where's Sarah Rice when you need her? Like, to just lay everything out for you.
I'm surprised they didn't give it to like Tori or somebody.
Oh, well, thank God they didn't do that.
So is that okay? So that leads in right into the book. Okay, good. So we're at that point. I also noticed Cara Maria trying her hardest to get a reaction shot for the camera here. Like they pan to her. She's like, she makes like a face like, oh, I'm ready to like make like a big like, oh, what face. And she's just waiting. They shot to her like 4 times. And then once TJ finally said like, it's going to be a secret vote, she goes, oh, like
everyone's sitting there like, is she going to do it? Oh, she's going to do it.
Yeah, she
did it.
She knew that TJ was going to make some big announcement, and she was sitting there waiting. Like her cheeks are pressed for like the big like moment to make the face. I'm surprised Cara Marie of all people that was doing that. That's usually something that Tori does.
Well, I mean, Tori's like the person that we always shame for it, but like honestly,
most people do it.
Cara has done it many times over the years. Yeah. She's one of them.
Yeah. Also, I'm surprised there's certain people that don't like. Bananas doesn't really do it that often. No, the guys don't usually do it unless they're like
their K.
Yeah, and like most of the time when you do it, it is for the cameras. Let's be honest. Like no, you wouldn't. Like TJ's like, it's gonna be a secret vote. Nobody's like with their mouth super wide jumps back like, oh what? Like people wouldn't actually do that.
Or jumps forward doing somersaults and shit like Jose.
They all know they know Jose.
That was the most outlandish reaction. All 6 of them in that house. That was outrageous.
So
that's a callback.
We have the vote here, and it's going to be a secret vote.
Whoa!
And Kyle and Brad get their vote counts twice, so they have the power.
Hang on. Could you really go in depth on that? I'm a little confused about.
All right, so basically they won the challenge, right?
Whoa.
So you can't vote for them, and get this, their vote counts twice, which is better than having one vote. Believe it or not.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I know. Crazy. but that's a good thing for them.
That was y'all couldn't see it because podcast. So I tried to vocalize it, but I pretty much just did what Kara did while she was waiting in anticipation.
And I pretty much just did what Paulie's confessional was, explaining all this.
Thanks, Paulie. All right. And
did we get straight to the vote here?
Yeah, they all just do their votes. They all just kind of talk about who they're thinking about.
I was surprised by some of these names. A few teams voted for Shane and Nelson.
Yeah, good amount.
Only 4 teams ended up getting voted on.
Which was weird because when I was watching the all the teams voting, I could have sworn that like every goddamn team got a vote.
Like, because they showed them on the screen a lot.
Yeah.
Joss and Sylvia, the most surprising team. I think that was the one. They only got one throw.
Yeah, it was just a burn vote. Now, what I think is even more surprising is that, how many teams are left as of that moment?
11.
11?
Yeah.
So 10 of them picked only 3 teams.
Yeah. And Shane and Nelson got picked by 4. Okay, so doing the math here, it's simple. Paulie and Natalie got picked by 4 teams. The other 2 got picked by 3, I would think. I'm pretty sure 3 teams voted Shane and Nelson. 3 teams voted Angel and Faith.
Well, I mean, there's pretty much no other way.
Yeah.
Because it's 4 and 1, so there's 5 votes right there, which leaves 6 votes left for 2 people. And they would have mentioned that the vote got tied, so obviously it's 3 and 3.
What's going to happen in the future if it is tied?
I wonder.
Yeah,
maybe we're going to see.
Maybe the 2 teams that have the most tied just automatically going against each other.
At the rate that the season's going, yeah, probably.
They just cut the second.
But then they'll both be back, so it's okay.
Most of these teams were pretty on board with each other, except for one exception. Were there any other? Trying to remember, were there any other teams besides Clara and Marie that had issues, that like had any sort of like arguments down there?
Well, I would say maybe Cam and Kaylee. I don't remember them doing anything, but obviously one of them really likes Natalie and one of them really hates Natalie, and they ended up voting for her. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that wasn't taken very lightly by Cam, the one who likes her.
Yeah.
So I don't remember if it was shown or anything, just not ringing a bell, but it seems like that would have been one that would have caused a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, well, we have Cara, Marie, and Marie, the one dysfunctional mess of a team here.
Should we just vote for ourselves?
Interesting strategy by Marie there.
Which at the time seemed terrible. Now it just seems like a genius move.
Well, it depends on where you stand politically in the game.
It's true.
Nobody was gunning after that team, so...
Yeah, Joss and Sylvia should probably just vote for each other.
So should...
themselves.
Were Zach and Amanda's name even brought up once in this whole thing by any team? They should just vote for themselves every time, too.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of teams should do it, which is why I'm assuming that it's not going to be allowed.
Yeah. Because what if you vote yourself in and then call yourself into the elimination? And just like 2 partners go against each other. It's really stupid. I don't know why I said that.
I was like, where are you going with this?
So after the fact, Cara Maria then goes to Tori and Natalie and straight up tells her that Marie wanted to vote both of you in.
Tattletale.
And
self-sabotage.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Does she not realize that she's on a team with her? They're sort of like partners.
This was so bad.
This was bad gameplay.
Stupid. So freaking stupid.
And these are two of the girls that Cara Maria she even said it herself, the 2 girls that she trusts. And does anyone else in this house really have her back?
Was it Tori and Cam or Tori Sylvia?
Tori and Natalie.
Tori and Natalie.
Do any other teams in that house really have Cara's back besides maybe those 2?
CT.
Yeah, CT. That's it. Is CT gonna hold any power in this game?
Team layup.
Team layup. and Tori and Derek, team layup. And Paulie and Natalie, who are no longer there.
And I would also say potentially Kyle and Brad, just because Kyle keeps wanting to like make her life a living hell, but he also just can't stop feeling it.
Meanwhile, Marie's got all her friends on the other side of the house, and she's not going up to them and telling them that Cara wants to, or complaining about Cara to them.
Yeah, because she's not an idiot.
Yeah. And then Marie, creeping on the conversation in the background, walks into shot.
Oh, it's so
like, Cara, can we talk? No.
That was a really good just the way that was filmed. I love that. They're coming in later.
I'm starting to think that Kara knows that she's not going to win, so she's just fucking around at this point.
I mean, all the power to her. Have a little bit of fun, like
it's
Veronica.
Too early to be doing this shit, though.
I mean, Marie checked out like
but
4
at
episodes.
At least Marie
in.
got to an elimination before she checked out.
No, she checked out like 4 episodes in. It was along for the ride until the elimination.
What, on Vendettas?
Yeah,
she was doing fine. She was like never in the thing, or even like a vote to go in the thing, and then all of a sudden she was in there, and then she decided to throw it then. But the point is like Kara just it seems like she basically just decided from day one that she doesn't want to fucking work with Marie or cares about trying to make it far or winning or playing any sort of good strategic game.
You're so smart, Joe.
Yeah, I know.
And your memory has improved about the challenge like drastically.
Cara Maria, a terrible politicker, as we've seen on Bloodlines when Dario, of all people, got in her head and forced her to change a vote.
Good old Dario.
Dario and Rafi. Bloodlines.
Bloodlines.
She made Dario and Rafi somehow manipulated Cara into changing her vote and voting in the guy that she was giving a handy to on the bus.
Dario, hell yeah.
Dario making them moves.
Back when he cared about the show.
Yeah, back when Dario cared, yeah.
Well,
so then we get to our favorite part. Well, first, the Cara Marie conversation ends with Marie reminding Cara that she fucking hates her.
Hang on. Quick side note. When I was looking for a picture for episode 2's podcast, I ended up just using our logo. But because the episode was so boring, I think I titled it like Snooze Fest or something. I was just frantically looking on the internet for pictures of Dario sleeping. I really wanted it to be the picture.
Well, you could have gone back and watched the episode on your computer and screen capped it or something.
Yeah, I didn't want to try that hard.
There was plenty of shots, I'm sure, when CT was roasting him for it.
I just didn't know like any exact moments, so I didn't like know where to go.
Imagine having Jordan and like Hunter, or having like Jordan and Bananas and like Derek K as options to vote in and voting in Dario. CT did that
because he's freaking CT, and all he cares about is
I'm going to play a straight up game and keep all the strong competitors till the end.
That's just I mean, CT's been, at least you can say he's been consistent, because he's been doing that for the past 10 years. Just incrementally always vote the weakest person. Because he's always worried about, like, in the final, like, who is he gonna have to act, like, by chance get partnered with.
Except when Jordan throws around a insult about Down syndrome, then you gotta throw him in. Then you have no choice.
You gotta take the vote at that point, it's gotta be done.
Oh, and anyway, we go to the Redemption House, our favorite spot, where they're playing in mid Truth or Dare game.
Coming right into the action.
Coming right into it. And then this went to 0 to 100 very quickly.
Well, as Jemmy stated, that they started this Truth or Dare game only so they could just try to force more tension between Chuck and Brittany.
I feel bad for them both, because they're actually this is, again, a lot of bad blood here, and they're trying to work through this shit, and it's not easy, and these other 4 people are just making fun of them.
And they're just being prodded with a stick by these like other 4 people, and they're under the probe of these cameras. Like, it's tough. Mm-hmm. It is really tough.
Yep. So they dare Brittany to twerk on Chuck. Kind of, not really that close to him.
Yeah, she wasn't that close, and he was looking away.
Yeah, bad decision, Chuck. Then they asked Chuck. What did they ask Chuck to say?
I believe they asked him something along the lines of like, stand in front of Brittany and like
tell her
and like confess your sins in a way. Just like talk about like what you've done wrong and that you're apologetic.
And then Chuck's like, nope, not doing that. And then
no way.
Within seconds, Brittany is in his face screaming at him. You never listen, Charles. That's a good sound piece.
I love that she calls him Charles. It's
great. Well, it shows how personal their relationship is.
Yeah.
When she calls him, it's like when people called CT Chris, you knew there was a true friend if you called him Chris.
And more people still need to call him John.
Well, that's taking the opposite route. That's like an insult to call him John.
Yeah.
So.
All right, John.
I marked down that Brittany getting very shrill here, because she was. I don't think I've ever seen Brittany that loud too on a challenge. Or either one.
Yeah, she
that was the loudest she's ever been.
Yeah, she was screaming.
And Jemmy thought, and the rest of the house are just laughing at this. Jemmy even compares it to a weird porno.
Yeah, they're all having their fun.
What are we getting distracted by here?
There's
some snakes.
There's some weird
on Fear
stuff
Factor,
going
which you claimed would get canceled last week.
Well, this isn't Celebrity Fear Factor, so this one can stick around.
Oh, I see.
Actually, is it? I don't know.
No,
this is Celebrity Fear Factor. No, it's gonna get canceled.
No. Okay, whatever you say.
We should really do some podcasts with the TV off.
Chuck goes outside and punches a wall.
Yeah, his sissy punch.
Yeah, and then comes back in and is actually very rational and is
extremely calm.
Yeah, extremely calm. Comes back in.
He let out all that frustration with that.
We got to get on the same page. If you want to win this together, it's $1 million. So get your shit together. And then Emery's like, "Yep, okay,
all right.
You make a good point."
Okay.
She really didn't have anything to say back.
No.
So Chuck really got her there. Whatever he said, it worked.
Bazinga.
So back to the main house, and we get to the Armageddon. This big dome.
The big dome.
That could sound really bad out of context.
I mean, only if you make it like that. Like, I'm going to get some big dome.
I mean, it is a big dome, so
it's a big dome. It is what it is.
It's a big dome called Armageddon.
That's what domes do. They be big and they be named Armageddon.
So this might be the first time in challenge history where everybody had to pack their bags, and like nobody knew, neither team knew that they were going in beforehand. Like usually at least one person knows, like, all right, I'm going in.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier to Bri during the episode that, to myself, during the episode that that this has to be a record of the most bags.
Most bags packed.
Most bags packed on a challenge season.
11 or 10 teams pack their bags, so that's 20 people.
Yeah, 20 bags are packed. There's no way.
And it's going to be like this every week. What's the point of even unpacking them?
Yeah, just keep
You don't win, your bags are packed. That's it.
Yeah, there's no reason to take anything out. Just like live in it like it's a suitcase, and you're on vacation.
That's what I do anyways every time I go on vacation. So
yeah, I don't go put it in the drawers.
Yeah, no, screw that. Unless I'm there for like a month.
Yeah, exactly. No, it stays in the suitcase.
But I mean, to be fair, they are there for a month.
They're there for like a month and a half.
Well, it depends on how. Unless you suck and you get eliminated right away.
That is true, but everyone does plan on being there for a month and a half.
I like how they do this with the lights. They all stand there on their little platforms. They dramatically darken the arena, and then
they darken the dome.
One team lights up, the team that got the most votes, and they are going in, and that was Natalie and Paulie. And TJ does tell them all beforehand. I almost wish he didn't do that because that just would have made it even more suspenseful.
What they said the people
because he said the people that got votes for them.
Yep.
Because then it's even more like sneak because you don't know who voted for you. These people probably don't even know who voted for them until they watch the show now.
What do you mean?
Like Bananas or Shane and Nelson don't know any of the teams that voted.
Yeah. You're right. Whoa. Oh yeah.
So like they have no clue. So then it's just a complete mystery.
You're right.
Which reminds me of Big Brother. That's what happens.
I mean, I guess that's also the point of it being anonymous. That you can get burned, but you also then can also
and
throw
it can lead
shade
to some crazy speculation afterwards if he does say, okay, that's the advantage of him saying what team voted for.
For example, you could really stir a pot by every week voting Joss and Sylvia. Like you being the only
and
they
might have no idea.
And they have no clue why they're always
could be an own alliance member voting them in every time.
Exactly, like just something that is an absolute bananas move. Like that he would totally do that.
And
like
you
him
never
or
get
Devin.
voted in. You'll never get called out if they don't get the most votes. So they're never a target.
So you just keep doing it.
That's another. I don't know if you can vote for yourself. If that actually is a thing you could do, but another thing is 2 alliance members could just vote for each other every time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is risky because of the double vote is why it's important too. Because if they throw that on you, then you're definitely at risk at that point.
Real quick, with the double vote, because we were talking about math earlier about how the voting worked. Who did Brad and Kyle vote for?
Paulie and Natalie.
Paulie
so that's what ended up being the deciding vote.
So it was 3-3-5-3-1.
It was 3-3-1-5 because they got their vote counted twice.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We've talked about this how many times during this podcast that 2 votes is better than 1, Joe or Brian. Sorry, I'm Joe. So You should have known that.
You're right. We really drilled it in this podcast. I just keep thinking about vacation.
Yeah. So Paulie and Allie step down, and then they reveal the teams that voted for them, which were Joss and Sylvia, Zach and Amanda, and Cam and Kaylee.
Oh my bum. Powerhouse team.
Immediately, at least this is what I thought. Immediately, I thought, like, oh, this is a no-brainer. Do you want to go against a team that has Joss on it, a team that has Zach on it, or do you want to get against two girls? So it seemed like an easy choice to me, and that is the choice that they went with. Did you notice your girl Amanda and Zach hugging each other afterwards?
No.
Oh, well, I know. I'm
missed
surprised.
it.
You missed it? Well, I noticed some team unity there between them. In the vote, they had no issues. In the challenge, they had no issues, even though they got last place. And then they were hugging in this challenge. I don't think they have any problems at all, which is shocking. Maybe Zach is actually mature now that we think about it.
I think Zach just doesn't give a shit.
Or he just doesn't give a shit. Well, Amanda doesn't give that much of a shit either.
Like, he doesn't give a damn that this girl made a rumor about,
that is
about
true,
his
yeah.
girlfriend that he's dumped 3 times.
Yes,
he
true.
doesn't care.
Well, that obviously has been overplayed. Especially like you said, considering he still got back together with her and then dumped her again after that, and is back with her again now. So it's completely irrelevant to their relationship what happened with them, and they don't have any issues getting along. So if they're actually on the same page, then they'll be a big threat. Yeah, because I thought like they'd be a strong team, but the fighting between them would be a major issue.
I don't know if they stand up to. Well, actually, I know that they're the best team on the show, but I don't know if they're as good as your team favorite, Joss and Sylvia.
Well, I still thought Zach and Amanda was better than Joss and Sylvia, but if those two can stick together, ride it out to the end, because Joss and Amanda, even though we haven't seen it since episode 1, I assume they're still like got something going on there. But anyway, they call out Cam and Kaylee. Natalie calling out the girl who sent her home last season.
Sure did.
And the girl who outed her on social media. So, an interesting matchup. What was the elimination called? God damn it, I should have marked that down.
That's my job to take notes, and I did mark it down, but I'm not gonna say.
You're just gonna not say.
It's not gonna say it.
Something about escaping something. Anyway, one partner is in a cage, and you're harnessed up to this thing, this pole in the middle, and you have to pick up your pieces and throw them in the cage, while the other person builds the puzzle up and gets to the top and escapes.
Yeah, pretty much you have to go make a logo that says the challenge and then put a red or blue block on top and then use that to step out of a cage.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
In a nutshell.
But it very quickly became evident that Paulie was having a lot harder time on these ropes.
An extreme struggle.
Yeah.
And Cam was just beasting it. So it occurred to me that they might be doing something that I speculated I don't know if I said it in the preview or anything, but that they would be weighing the challenges and eliminations, specifically the eliminations, for females and males. Yeah. Where, for example, if you're carrying a bag, the women would carry 50 pounds and the guys would carry 1 something.
I've already seen a screenshot where you could clearly see that Paulie's rope is tighter. It's like a thicker rope.
So basically, I don't know anything about the diameter of these ropes, but what I did notice was the quantity. And that would be 2 ropes holding back Killer Cam, who, as we know, is probably the strongest girl there.
She's big and strong, so
yes. Versus Paulie, who may be shorter than Cam.
I think he is.
And he had 4 ropes tied to him. Yeah. Or bungee cords, I guess. Bungees. And now, I said this to my counterpart here, that if this was like Cam versus Joss, I think this would be fine. Joss would be doing the same stuff as Cam, hanging out over by there. The tension wouldn't be bothering him nearly as much. Like, and whatnot. And of course, instead of it being Cam on the flip side, if you had someone like Kaylee, she probably would have been having a little more trouble as well. But you put the strongest girl
against like the small,
not necessarily the weakest guy or anything, but just the smallest guy, and he got double the ropes. Mm-hmm. This wasn't gonna work out.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I see a lot of people saying like rigged and all that. It wasn't rigged. The point, they were gonna make it the same for guys,
no matter who. Yeah, yes. No matter who it was.
But that's the issue, is sometimes they overcompensated clearly.
Yeah, sometimes they don't get play tested.
Yeah, and now like you said, it wouldn't have been as big of a deal if it was a strong guy on there. Mm-hmm. And maybe they overthought. Maybe Paulie and Natalie overthought it, and maybe they should have had Natalie on the ropes.
Yes, I was actually thinking about that a couple minutes ago when I was about to bring this point up. That actually could have been very good, because I'm sure they know the stipulations. They're off screen. I'm sure they get talked to as like, hey, because you're a dude, you're getting four bungees and she's getting 2. Like, you guys cool with that? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm sure their thought process was just like, oh, Natalie's probably better at building the puzzle than me, so I'll give that to her. And that's probably what their thought process was. And to be fair, he did get her all the parts. And the thing is that Cam, like, they all got him all the parts. The issue is that we could clearly see Cam standing there against the rope, coaching Kaylee through the puzzle, mm-hmm. with no, like, she was standing straight up. Yeah. Like, and she had a hand on the bar, but it didn't look like she was even, it looked like she was like relaxing on it, like more than she was actually holding herself there.
In terms of them getting the pieces in there, it wasn't that much of a disadvantage, really. Paulie had to work a lot harder.
Yeah. He did, but they all got every piece there in a similar time.
Yeah, but Cam was able to help Kaylee out much better with the puzzle, and Cam almost. Kaylee did what she was told, and props to her, because it is pressure and you can crack in that situation. But Cam really did almost win this completely by herself.
Well, I wouldn't say that completely. It's not like
Kaylee's, she told Kaylee where to put the piece. No, I'm just saying, like, it's Kaylee. We haven't seen like much of anything from her as a competitor.
Yeah, I think what it was that
she just had to stay calm and listen.
She wasn't used to competition.
Yeah,
I mean, she never saw it last year, right?
Never. She never been in elimination. This was her first one. Yeah,
exactly.
I think it's definitely a skill to be good at listening and not cracking under pressure, which is what Kaylee did. You're saying that Cam was like the main one telling her what to do with all building every puzzle.
You know what was interesting about this?
What?
There wasn't a Bananas in the crowd or anybody else shouting what to do.
Too many. Well, it's hard to really see that from that angle. Just a square.
Just usually the peanut gallery is out and large, mm-hmm. and rather loud, and they weren't here at all.
No,
they just watched.
Yeah.
I'm sure they cheered.
They yelled. They cheered. There was some cheering. Teams were very happy to see Paulie and Natalie lose.
Yeah. It wasn't like Bananas versus Devin where everyone was just deadly silent. Just like...
yeah.
The silence was deafening.
You can't really see. You couldn't see what was going on in that one.
Yeah. There's where people were like running back and forth just to look at it.
Made for a good explosion when Devin won that. But anyway. So Cam and Kaylee do win. Cam goes to 4-0 now in elimination rounds.
Yeah, she good.
Has now beaten Natalie twice, mm-hmm. and Paulie in his first.
She made it to
Paulie's the first challenge goes in the first elimination and loses. So even though he has been talked about a lot in his role in all these storylines, it's a pretty typical rookie thing to do, to come in and lose and then go home in the first elimination. Although he's not going home because there's a redemption house. Of course there is.
You know it, boy.
Yeah. Which, honestly, I feel like this season would be so good if it just didn't have the redemption house. I wouldn't even mind it taking like 2 episodes to get through all this and having all the politics play out. Like, mm-hmm. I like it. But then the team gets eliminated and they're still not even eliminated. Like, that's just going to make it even longer, mm-hmm. and more drawn out than even... Like, you could have had a nice... Yeah, like 8-9 elimination rounds, make it like 2 episodes per elimination. You have a consistent, even though it is dragged, it's a consistent format. But this is, when you throw redemptions in there, it's just going to make it all random and all over the place throughout the season. And it's going to be tough to follow along week to week with that format.
I feels you.
Yeah.
I feel you,
So that was the end of the episode. Next week we have the return of the Double Cross.
Boy.
Yeah.
Remember how good that was 2 seasons ago? It was great, wasn't it?
Really good.
Yeah, it was like totally rad.
So I assume how it works is maybe you pull it, and then whatever team pulls it gets to pick to eliminate a team? To eliminate? Teams to eliminate? I'm not sure how... Or do they compete in something? Maybe you pick someone to go against?
I really don't know how the double cross is fitting into any of this.
Maybe you pull it and then you pick somebody to go against. Oh, that was another thing too. My rewatching, because in rewatching the first episode a couple of times after, TJ did mention that not every team is going to get a chance to compete.
Aww.
In Redemption. So it's not going to be like it was before, where it's like a challenge with all of them.
Sad.
So that's what I think it is. The double cross.
So Jenna and Jemmy aren't even going to get a chance.
So that's what it is. The double cross is whatever team pulls it.
So that's how it's. The double cross is for Redemption.
Yeah, clearly they showed it in the.
Oh, I didn't watch. I was busy like getting ready to shower.
You could see like this is the Redemption challenge, and then there's a double cross set up out there, and you could clearly see Chuck and Jemmy and all of them are standing there.
Very astute of you, Joe.
It wasn't a hard observation. It's very obvious.
Well, I wasn't looking.
Yep.
So.
And then Paulie and Zach were fighting. That is actually shocking because Zach doesn't normally scrap with people anymore. So
I just felt like saying shocker. It is rather.
They haven't. Yeah. Has there been any issue? I mean, Zach did vote him in. So
yeah, but Paulie.
Well, that's gonna do it for the episode. Not our podcast though, because we move into the
sauna.
Yes, which again, this room feels like a sauna right now.
Oh, that was your part, Joe. You're supposed to announce the sauna. Why'd you let me do it?
In the sauna, literally, but also figuratively with our podcast.
I think we should. I should say this is the fourth podcast that we're doing of this season, and the fourth under the no AC rule. Mm-hmm. And they are, if I could say, this is like 10 degrees, maybe even like 20 degrees colder than the other 3 episodes. The other 3 were like, I was dying. Like, it's warm in here right now, but...
Well, our first episode we did in the afternoon, too.
It was brutal. It was really bad.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's not too bad in here. Like, yeah, it needs some work. It needs to be a little colder, but, it's not scorching hot in here.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna make it to that level by the time we're done with these hot takes. Mm-hmm. And I do also realize that we did not beforehand discuss what our bombshell would be. I kind of have one. It's not like huge. Do any of yours qualify as a real bombshell?
Not necessarily. One of them's a pretty out there.
But this is like a bombshell. Can it be summed up into like a sentence and a half and just be like boom?
Maybe if I go all in with it. I'll go all in with it. It'll be a bombshell.
And I'll give you the bombshell to you.
Okay.
So we're gonna start it off, and you know what? We're gonna start it with this one. I believe after watching this ludicrous 3 episodes to the first elimination, that there will be an elimination drought spanning 5 episodes this season.
Without even an elimination.
House elimination, I should specify.
Not redemption.
That's how it's going to make it there, because 5 is absolutely unfathomable.
So in order for that to happen, there has to be a massive purge at some point, where like a bunch of teams get eliminated without even a redemption.
Yeah, like a purge and a redemption house, that like returning thing. You could easily stretch like 4 to 5 episodes if those 2 are interlaced in there well. But I think there will be a 5-episode drought of a house elimination. Or like a straight up one with votes and stuff. Sometime this season. I'll hand it off to you.
All right. Mine was this voting system. Somebody is going to abuse it. I said this, I alluded to this earlier, but somebody's going to abuse it. Either vote for themselves or they're going to vote for an alliance member every time, and they're going to skate through the game without seeing an elimination because they were just burning their vote every week on the same team.
Okay, and I would like to...
As you mentioned, too, with Jocelyn Sylvia.
Yes, I would like to throw that...
It makes sense. It's a good strategy for a team like Zach and Amanda, who are they really targets of anybody? No.
Well, that's something I wanted to say to you. I wanted to hear what team you thought would implement this strategy.
I think it depends on it. Because, I mean, if you win a challenge, then you're you don't have to worry about it being. So you at that case you would throw in a team that. So maybe that's why Zach and Amanda is a good team, because that's a team that could win some challenges, make a big move when they win a challenge, but then hide in the back when they don't win.
Okay.
Although that's not the thing with them though, is like they're still a scary team in elimination too. The strong teams are in a good spot for this, at least in the beginning. But then again, you could get completely screwed on one of these because it was only 3 teams they could choose from, and there's 11 teams there still.
Yeah, I mean.
So what happens? Like the power team votes one team, and then what if like only one other team votes for them? Mm-hmm. And it's 3 votes, and that's the most votes because everyone else burned their vote. Then you have to pick that one team. Or what if Cam and Kaylee didn't? If Cam and Kaylee voted for some other random team, say they voted for Tori and Derek, then it would have had to have been Paulie and Natalie still would have had the most votes, and they would have had to choose between Joss and Sylvia, Zach and Amanda to go against.
Yes.
So and this is this early on. There aren't even that many. There's still a ton of teams. So if this whittles down to the same format, you're going to have to pick a strong team to go against.
Eventually.
Like, I don't think it's going to be like, people might perceive this as like, oh, it's just going to be like the weak teams getting called in every time. But that isn't necessarily going to be the case, I don't think.
Yeah, because the 3 teams that vote for you could be just outrageously strong.
Yeah, or you could fuck up and burn vote somebody that you think is safe, but they're actually not. And then suddenly you're hung out to dry as like a weak team, like Angela and Faith.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out.
I think the power team is the key because you have to if you're on the same page with the power team on who to vote in, then you're golden. Because if you know what team they're voting for, then you know what team has the best shot of going in, and then you can flip it to whatever.
Oh, power team is key, and they have the most power for the elimination choices.
Imagine that,
and
Brian,
and that they're like, if you align yourself with them, that might be a good idea.
Yes, in fact, it would.
Thanks, Paulie. So, I got one. You know, every episode so far, I've thrown one not so challenge related one in there. This one actually is half challenge related. I believe that Cara Marie will be on the next season of Ridiculousness and will be dreadfully bad. Should just be so terrible, sucking it up with Chanel West Coast.
I can't see maybe I could see Bananas being in that spot.
Yeah, well, I very easily saw Bananas in that spot, and I thought that at that point it might not even be a hot take.
Or maybe even a CT. I think that's a good spot for a CT.
I think it would be.
And it's not a good spot for a Cara.
Well, that's exactly because I think it's safe to put Bananas or CT on that show, and they're going to do good. They're going to get ratings. I think it's very out there if you put Cara on the show.
What about like Tori?
Well, Tori was a little too obvious, but Tori's not big enough to get thrown on. That's why I chose someone that's still big enough that would just be bad.
Tori would be a lot better than Cara, that's for sure.
You know who could also sneak their way on there? This is a real rogue one. Anissa.
I could see it.
Anissa sneaks her way onto everything. So,
or maybe like Ashley M.
Like Ashley M. No,
that'd be a good
I'm referring to someone that has like repeatedly shown up for other things. Like like Anissa's been on the Fear Factor.
She was with Laura.
Stuff. Yeah. She's always there on the Champs versus Stars.
Leroy could be on there. That's an interesting one.
Leroy could pull it off.
Yeah,
I think that could work.
All right, so
he gets 0 points though.
Do you have any extra ones?
Yeah, I got 2 more. What you got? How many more?
I have a bombshell, which qualifies bombshell, and then I have a very long one by a guest hot take by Chalmers here.
Okay. Well, how about you read that, and then I'll finish off my 2, and then you go.
Okay. Bombshell. So, hot take: Cara is 100% right. Ignoring everything that Cara is still fucking awesome. She started the show as a weak little weirdo. She is now running the fucking game. I don't agree with that at all.
No, that's not true.
Her logic made perfect sense. She is allied with 2 of the stronger women there in Tori and Natalie. Well, one of them is already gone, and the other one's calling themselves a layup. Marie is a quitter. Cara's game has always been try your best, and if you lose, but she always shows up. Marie wouldn't vote in any of her friends. Cara literally named 2 teams she wouldn't vote in. Marie literally should just do whatever Cara says. Even if it wasn't for the relationship, sending in Faith and Angela is the standard generic challenge move. You send in the rookies. Cara is the only female champ on this season at the moment, aside from Veronica. The gap between her and the next female is pretty large. If Marie just shuts the fuck up and goes along with it, she could actually make a final instead of quitting in an elimination. Maybe if she wins, she will be able to afford decent lip injections that don't make her look like Donald Duck. Okay, that was harsh.
that was a little much at the end.
I completely disagree with him, by the way. I think what Cara's doing is hanging them out to dry. And Cara's never had a good political game.
Mm-hmm.
And even the last 2 seasons, she's benefited from the fact that the guys don't want to get rid of her because she's a strong girl to have there with them in the final. She doesn't have that benefit this time.
No, she does
Marie
not.
has way stronger relationships in the house than her.
I believe that to be true. And inadvertently throughout the course of this episode, we touched on almost every point in that.
And again, how is Cara? Come on, Cara cannot be 100% right when one of the teams she wanted to vouch for was the team that ended up getting the most votes and then got eliminated. So clearly she wasn't right in that decision. Maybe he sent that before the elimination happened. But like that means she wasn't right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a few things wrong in there, but you know what? That's kind of the point of a take. You usually end up being wrong.
Or yeah.
Unless you're me, unless you're Joe, because his hot takes are almost always right, including ones such as that Jenna and Zach's relationship would be mentioned in the first 3 minutes of the show.
Indeed, it was.
And it was. Or maybe the one that Tori and Derek would be last in their challenge because of Derek, and then it was because that guy's always
genius.
Right.
I'm a fucking genius.
Yeah, this guy's good.
And I don't care if Zach and Amanda technically had more points than them, but TJ called them the worst team on the challenge. That counts.
He did.
That is a win.
That was audibly said that they were last.
And my next take, my bombshell is going to be right again. So go on with yours.
All right. As much as it pains me as as a huge Amanda fan, all time, I have a poster of her in my room.
Really? Where did you get that? Because I'd like to get a Camilla poster.
Yeah. If I get an Amanda poster, you have to get a Camilla poster.
There, handshake on that one, buddy.
That is an audio handshake right there.
And then
if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, and then yours is to a wealthy nurse, while I have a racist Brazilian.
Well, so. That's okay, because I remember when you were choosing movie posters to put on your wall, you almost chose American Beauty starring Kevin Spacey. So
that's not a bad movie, though.
It's a damn good movie.
It's a damn good movie. So why is that a bad choice?
Well, it was a great choice at the time.
That's true.
It's less of a good choice now.
Yeah, I might have to rethink my favorite actor of all time.
Yeah. Well, if I recall right, he's tied for your top 2 favorite actors.
Oh, okay.
Him and Clint, and he hasn't done anything wrong yet. So good old Clint.
So that's a tiebreaker.
Yeah. They even out because everyone loves that guy. But that was a really long segue because I said Amanda and Zach. Amanda, my favorite competitor.
What are they gonna do?
Will get purged out by mid-season.
Okay. Well, you're really not showing any faith in your girl there.
Well, the way I see,
unless you think it's gonna be Zach's fault,
as it's a purge, they don't have to, because they're not gonna lose an elimination that early. I don't think. I see this as it's just gonna be one of those situations that the purge challenge just so happens to work the wrong way against certain people. I mean, it always happens. It's inadvertent, but certain people just can't. It's not working. Like Paulie in the bungee cords. Just it would have been fine with most other guys.
Yeah. And
I think that
some challenge where somehow Zach being a massive dude is at a disadvantage.
No, I was still thinking of my girl Amanda. She was still gonna mess it up.
Yeah, of course.
How could a man with such a chiseled bod like Zach just mess anything up? Have you seen that man besides relationships?
Yeah, I've seen him mess a lot. I've seen him mess a lot of stuff up over the years too.
Remember the time he almost lost to Chad?
CJ?
He
did lose to CJ. He still lost more times than he won in that. He got bailed out by Sam. Sam going clutch on him.
All right. And my last scorching take in the sauna is that after seeing how they weigh guy, girl, guy, eliminations, just how they weigh guys and girls in the eliminations, I've decided that this season there will be 5 or more girl elimination victories.
5? Are you even going to be that many elimination rounds?
Probably not. They're all just going to get purged out and then come back. But
at least 5 where it's how about at least 5 where a team either it's 2 girls who beat a guy girl or a guy or a guy girl beats a 2 guy.
No, you could workshop it like that.
Yeah.
Originally I was thinking that the reason why I was going to get the 5+ is because girl versus girl would also count as an elimination. And I think that might happen once or twice this season.
Yeah.
So I think the number will. I really honestly don't even think this is that hot. I think given the right circumstances, especially if Cam just keeps getting thrown in, because it happened last year, this number could easily make it to 5.
Yeah, and they better hope that they don't send. They got to choose their votes wisely because I could see them getting called on there again.
Yeah,
pretty quickly.
Absolutely. So, why don't you take us to the bomb?
And that leads into my bombshell.
Boom.
Cam is gonna at least tie, possibly break, not this season, but in general, Laurel's elimination record.
That is scorching hot.
She's gonna get to at least to 9-0.
So, what is Laurel right now? Like 9-1?
Laurel's 9-1.
Okay.
Cam is gonna get to at least 9-0. She's gonna tie it.
I think that can happen.
And the thing is,
that is really hot, but I really think that can happen.
And the thing is it might not even, because there's so many ways you can get eliminated now. Like that team could easily still get eliminated without losing an elimination, because I'm sure there'll be some more random purges coming in along the way.
Yeah,
and that's exactly the kind of team that you could see getting last in challenge later
Absolutely.
on down the road.
Cam still has her faults, and then there's that girl Kaylee, who's just
still
really
unproven.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what because I could see her in like 4 seasons having that, but like not ever even come close to winning any of them, and probably not even making any more finals just because of the weird formats of these seasons these days.
Yeah, it's really just a crapshoot nowadays to get to the final.
Like these elimination records really are not coming that like of much of a significance, because you can be dominant in eliminations and still like not win or even come close to winning.
Yeah, it's very true now with all the just absolutely outlandish additions to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just Paulied you.
Absolutely outlandish.
Totally.
Hey, they're gonna get to go see their buddies Jose and Davon in Redemption. Paulie and Davon have a history in a Redemption house.
Hang on. This has been 3 episodes now, and we have not seen footage of all of the Redemption house people watching the TV of the actual house since that single.
It's only been 2 episodes. It was the beginning of episode 2 was when they revealed that.
Really?
Twist. Yes.
I thought that was the beginning or like late episode 1.
But like what was there to see? Maybe they'll show them after the elimination and maybe they'll show them what team loses which I guess wouldn't be much to see because you're going to see that team come running in anyway.
Yeah. I just have a feeling if that TV is going to be used for
what are they going to show them?
For events like the Melissa and Kayla fight, they're going to watch just like 2 to 3 times the whole year.
It's not off. Maybe they'll show them like hookups or
fights. They're going to have to start really stretching the parameters of what to show just to get some TV time for this TV box that people stand around. So I think we've really hit you with the hot takes, and we've definitely dropped the bomb, and we've definitely reviewed an episode.
Yeah,
that definitely happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's it.
That's it. Yes, that is it, Brian. We're done here.
Oh, we finished.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Indeed.
So Joe, why don't you just do your usual thing and carry us on the outro?
Thanks for listening, folks, and good night or good day, depending on when you listen to this.
I'm Brian.
I'm Joe.
Later.